episode of the Jack Davison Show. On today's episode, we have a few very special guest stars. Allow me to introduce Noah, Simran, and Mashoud, who will be talking to us about the population of China today.
Hi there, Jack. Thanks for having us on your show. We're so excited to share insights into China's fascinating population.
I am too, so let's get on with it. Noah, start off by telling us a bit about the population of China.
Well, first of all, it's important to note that China has a population of 1.386 billion.
Based on the map, we can tell that due to internal migration from rural to urban areas, China's population is much more dense along the coast, as it is where major cities are located to provide access to trade and transport.
That being said, the population has undergone many changes, from the controversial one-child policy to the aging population and now the new two-child policy. There are many ongoing challenges facing China's population.
It is important to note that the average life expectancy of a male is 75 years, and for a female, it's 77.9 years.
However, it hasn't always been like this. The life expectancy continues to increase every single year due to advancements in technology and medicine, which can help prolong everyone's ultimate fear, death.
So what does this mean for population growth?
If we go back in time, China's population was growing at rapid rates. The government recognized this issue and therefore implemented the one-child policy. This antenatal policy stated that couples were only permitted to produce one child. This was done in hopes that China's birth rate would simmer down, which it did.
In fact, there were penalties for having more than one child. Some included sterilization, fines, and abortions.
By executing these policies, did China see a difference in the population?
Why, yes, they did. The population decreased so much that now China is facing an aging population. The current total fertility rate, which is the average number of children a woman is expected to have, is now 1.7.
In order to fix the new demographic crisis China is facing, they implemented a new, yet similar policy to before. However, it now allows couples to have only up to 2 children. This two-child policy allows the government to control the population while expanding it so that the consequences of an aging population are not so profound.
Indeed, with the contrary beliefs, the decrease in fertility rates have now become a trend, which the government cannot stop.
The birth rate from 2016 to 2018 alone has dropped from 12.95 births to every 100,000 people to 10.97 births every 1,000 people. So that gives you an idea of how the population is in need of youth to rescue this aging population.
That sounds fascinating, Simran. So in geography, we also have something called the dependency ratio. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the dependency ratio refers to the ratio of those in the labor force to those outside the given boundaries. For example, over 65 and under 15. Noah, could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure, Jack. Overall, China's dependency ratio as of 2016 was 38.55%, a slight increase from 2015 dependency ratio of 37.76%. Looking specifically at China's aging population, it has only been growing significantly and quickly. In 1987, 63.8% of China's population was of working age, while only 4.2% were over the age of 65. This surplus of workers helped support China's manufacturing boom. However, China's aging population is now expected to reach over 14% by 2025, taking only 25 years to double from 7% to 14%. This will have a major impact on China's economy, as there will be a reduced labor market, which will lead to a decline in China's economic growth.
In addition, the Chinese government will need to spend more money on social security and healthcare over the coming years to meet the demands of its aging population. China's pension plan was only established in 1997, and economists are projecting the fund may run out by 2035 due to poor planning. Also, there is a lack of pension coverage in rural areas where people over 65 make up over 20% of the population.
That's amazing. So now into population pyramids. Are they really the things that you see in documentaries all the time that stand up in Egypt, Simran?
Population pyramids, Jack, are illustrations that actually graphs, and they show the distribution of age groups in the population. So if we take a look at these graphs known as population pyramids, we can see that they clearly distinguish the percentage that each age group makes up of the population, separated by gender.
If we take a look back into the 1950s, we can see that 34.4% of the population is under 15.
That's amazing. So I also recently read a report that China only spends $420 per capita on healthcare, much less than the world average of $1,059 per capita. So how does China plan to address its population's growing healthcare needs as it pertains to the aging population?
Well, the OECD predicts that China will need to increase its spending on healthcare from 3% of its GDP to 5.2% by 2030. In addition to healthcare, China will also need to spend more on social housing, education, and training for the elderly.
The Chinese government is already taking action to address its aging population, including introducing robots to manufacturing, raising the minimum retirement age, and abandoning the one-child policy.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a lesson here. Have any of you heard about natural increase?
No.
No.
Natural increase, guys, is a difference in the number of birth and death rates over a set period
Really
of time.
fascinating. I had no idea.
It is. So the rate of natural increase in China was currently 4.61 people per thousand population in 2018, falling from about 26.33 people per thousand population in 1969. This shows the population of China is currently decreasing, an important factor to note when analyzing the population of a country.
Fascinating.
So Mashid, you seem to know what you're talking about. Tell us a bit more about life expectancy.
Well, guys, we already established that China has a total life expectancy of 76.4. But what factors led to China's life expectancy?
That's an excellent point you brought up.
China's life expectancy has been growing, mainly due to the improvement in child mortality rates and maternal health. But get this, experts have even predicted that China has the potential to increase their life expectancy by 3 years if they lower the smog level.
That's amazing. Well, I'm sorry, folks, but that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to tune in every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock.